Sitting down in my nice stool that I made on my last video. I'm going to sit down and have a quick conversation with you. Welcome back to another WoodShaped video. It's good to have you today. So I just wanted to start out by giving you a quick shop update. I've been busy for the last few months. The end of the year I finished up the Farmhouse table, which is what this video is going to be about, but in a week or so I'm going to have another video out for the jewelry box slash essential oils box. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that video. So go on and get subscribed to the channel. Make sure you click the bell as well so you get that notification when I submit that video and when it's uploaded. So I appreciate you being here today. I'm excited to share this build with you and I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you at the end. So I started out on SketchUp to get the exact dimensions for the project, and it made a huge difference when starting to cut down the pieces. I usually measure, create on the fly, which can sometimes be beneficial, but for this build I wanted to get that detail given the short timeline. This Farmhouse table was purely big box store lumber to keep the cost down. The legs were made from Douglas fir and the rest was pine because we all know that, well, pine is fine. The milling process was very intensive just because there was so much of it, but given that it was a soft wood, it did go quickly, but there were just a ton of pieces to mill. I started with the legs by getting all the lumber cut to length and started shaping the X pattern. I recruited my son to help me mill the tabletop. starting to get used to gluing up these large tabletops, so I was not intimidated by this step at all. There were just several stages of glue up so that I could keep the flatness. After a successful glue up, I went to working on additional flattening, and I love pulling out my hand plane for this process. Once flat, I took my track saw and cut the ends nice and flush for the breadboard end joinery. For the breadboard ends, I honestly struggled with how I was going to attach these, given that the opposing grain patterns could cause wood movement, which is typically inherent with a breadboard end design, and all I had to work with was the basic biscuit joiner. I did cut the slots larger for some movement, and I was very strategic with my glue placement, and in addition I had some tight biscuits on both sides and a secure breadboard end. There's often a lot of fuss over wood movement, and I'm a believer, just out of experience, it is a real thing and it's a real process, and it's something that you should plan for in your builds. But most of the techniques to prevent movement are intended for longitudinal movement, even though it's only 0.01% of movement. So the edges of the breadboard are not much of a concern. There is some movement along the joinery edges of the breadboard end and the tabletop, but it's not very significant. It's the tangential and radial movements that I worry most about, these being the most significant depending on the cut of the wood. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Long table, no huge pipe clamps, gotta improvise. The largest movement that you would see out of a breadboard is that it may eventually up slightly for plain sawn lumber, which is what I was using. A lot of the breadboard end designs will still not account for most tangential wood movement or radial wood movement. In the example of tenon, gluing the middle tenon will still cause resistance in the tangential direction, and the left and right sides may start to separate at some point. Even though not 100% preventable, you should plan for wood movement. If you do decide to use the mortise and tenon technique, then definitely go check out John Malecki's breadboard end tutorial. It's completely spot on, and it's what I will actually use in the future once I have the capability to use the mortise and tenon with the tools such as the Festool Domino joiner. Do your research on the woodcut and ensure that proper wood movement is in your design, and message me for questions. So once the tabletop was done, I moved on to do the epoxy and then eventually the finish. So I guess that's probably Farmhouse Table 1001 on YouTube, right? This build's been done quite a bit, but this was a commission piece for me, and so I wanted to share the process with you in the video, and I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and like the video, share with friends, go on and get subscribed to the channel so that, like I said in the beginning, you can get that update and notification when I post for that really nice box that I built, a jewelry box / essential oil box. Also, if you haven't already, go check me out on Instagram at WoodShaped, where I post daily shop updates, and you'll get a really great inside look into this box that I'm going to share with you, and you definitely want to check that out. And until next time, remember to go shape some wood, and we'll see you again soon.